Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
Good morning, Bix Weir, roadrunner.com. Good morning, Horn of Disease, your sip of chaga coffee. Oh, God, the end of the world is here and nobody knows it. Not nobody. Some of you guys know. And you've taken the precautions. It's not about making money. Making money should be the least of your desires. Your desire should be retaining capital, retaining your assets. Every market on the planet is about to get crushed by not only the computer programs, but reality is going to sink in when $2.5 quadrillion in derivatives come melting down. And there are many catalysts for that. This is the end game. We're in the middle of the end game. The banks wouldn't be talking about CBDCs if they did know already that their system was dying. Like really dying. As a matter of fact, let me show you something that I briefly showed yesterday. This is from the FDIC as of December 31st. Unrealized gains and losses on investment securities by the banks, by the insured banks. Look at that. Look at that. This is 2008. This is 2022. You think there's going to be a difference? The banks are bleeding money. They are all insolvent. None of them, not even JP Chase, can withstand a bank run, and all the assets have been destroyed because they jacked up the interest rates. And this is what happens when you invest poorly. So it's not about how much money can I make. It's about, will I have anything left? If it's in the bank, you will not. If in the stock market, the bond market, mining shares, you will not. ETFs, you will not. They can't survive this. This is the end of last year. The first quarter, they haven't released this report yet. I don't think, on the FDIC. The FDIC is scrambling to figure out what the hell to do. And the crazy thing is they're talking about insuring more than what they already can't insure. But I'll get to that in a second. If you think that's crazy, look at this. Number of assets of banks on the problem bank list. At the end of the year, there was over 300 banks that were ready to fail. 300. And how many have we had? 3. How many got left to go? I'll guarantee you this is much higher than what is over here now. We're talking 4,000 banks on this list right now. When it comes out, 4,000. This is the end game, my friends. So it's not about making money at all. It's about, what do you got left? If the world shut off, if your computer went down, the car stopped running, and you could say, bang, I'm sitting here in my chair. What do I have? What do I have left that I can get my hands on? Your car's not working. Your computers aren't working. Nothing is working. Do you have food? Do you have water? Do you have a gun? All those come into play now. For your assets, for starting up the new future, silver should do the best out of all the assets. Blow cryptos away. Any crypto excitement you had in the past, silver's going to blow that away. Don't get me wrong, cryptos are the future, and everybody's planning for that. Oh, by the way, with CBDCs, 100% in violation of Reggie Middleton's patent. So I hope you have your Veritasium. And we might give away Veritasium again, actually. When silver hits $30, we're not giving away the silver Ruta coin, which we're giving away right now. Those will be huge collector's items. We're not going to do that. We might give away Veritasium, but it's still hobbling around $22. Because Reggie has the patent on peer-to-peer transactions through blockchain technology. And that patent was granted by the United States Patent Office. And 2 in Japan. And oh, by the way, he has more coming. And oh, by the way, the U.S. government and all these central banks are talking about implementing CBDCs, which are 100% in violation of the patent. So Reggie Middleton can pull the plug on CBDCs. Say, hey, you're in violation of patent. I don't want to give you this technology. I don't want to sell it to you. I don't care how much you pay me. You people screwed me. You're going to screw the rest of humanity unless you can prove to me that this technology, a CBDC, is good for the people. I won't license you my technology. How about that, central bank? Reggie Middleton holds all the cards. Oh, it's going to be crazy. But let's talk about, there's a few things I want to go over. This is the chart of silver since 1965. Why since 1965? That's when the United States demonetized silver. And then all the other countries did pretty quickly afterwards. This is what happens when you demonetize silver, but you got to keep in mind what these spikes represent. The spike in 1980, it went up intraday up to almost $50. It might have hit $50. What did it represent? The Hunt brothers knew what was going on with the market rigging, with the printing of money, and they said, screw this, I'm going to take my country back. They were true patriots back in the day, so they bought 100 million ounces of physical silver and about 110 million in the futures contracts they were going to take delivery of. That was their big mistake. Had they just stuck with physical silver, and I'm screaming that to everybody right now, just stick with physical silver in your own possession. Do not try to get greedy. It will bite you in the butt, just like it bit the Hunt brothers in the butt. So they had 100 million. The government came in. The Comex, where the Hunt brothers had 110 million ounces of futures, bought the longs, were going to take delivery. Comex said, hell no. And then they said, no more buying silver, only selling. And the price quickly, I think a matter of 2 months, went down to $15 and was held there with the computer programs implemented by Alan Greenspan. That's what happened. That's why that spike was there. It's not that silver wasn't worth it. Absolutely. Silver price has been rigged for so long. It's scary. It's that how much control do they have? And if one set of brothers, billionaires, could come close to taking out the silver riggers and destroying the silver machine back in 1980, how many could do it now? How many billionaires are there now? Remember, silver's trading at 1/2 of the price of what the Hunt brothers got it to. 1/2. Yeah, they were billionaires, but I didn't think they had that many billion, maybe 4 or 5 billion, I think. The insanity of how cheap silver is versus how many billionaires there are versus how many industries need silver to survive. Apple Computer would go out of business without silver. Elon Musk, out of business without silver. Ted Butler's been saying this for a long time. He thinks the industrial panic is going to be the ultimate killer. It's not going to be the retail side. I think it will be the retail side because I think everybody will panic very soon. I mean, there's one thing trying to save your business. There's another thing trying to save the future of your family. And some people refuse to listen. A lot of people I know are refusing to listen. I'm like, holy shit. It is shocking to me. But then again, a lot of things shock me. So that's what happened in 1980. Fast forward to 2011. What happened in 2011? By 2008, the derivatives had taken over all markets. JP Morgan was the king of derivatives. They invented credit default swaps in the 90s. Blythe Masters grew them into the monster they were. They invented a masterful derivative player, destroying lives, families, and countries. Congratulations, Jamie Dimon. Congratulations, Blythe Masters. You're so smart. Don't forget, Jamie Dimon and JP Morgan Chase have paid over $30 billion in just fines to stay out of prison since 2000. I think it's $34 or $36 billion. That's just the fines. The amount of money they made on those cons, probably in the trillions. I'll get to Jamie Dimon in 1 second. But, so here's what happened. Jamie Dimon, JP Morgan buys out Bear Stearns because had Bear Stearns gone down, the entire derivative market would have been destroyed and Jamie Dimon's company would have been destroyed. He basically took over the banking system, took over the silver shorts that the silver hot potato was currently in the hands of Bear Stearns, and he added to those shorts. Why? Because he wanted to stock up on physical silver. That's what he did, and that's what he literally got busted for from 2008 when he took over Bear Stearns all the way up to 2014, 2015. What Jamie Dimon was doing was controlling the price of silver at the same time putting physical in the vaults. Over 1 billion ounces. Over 1 billion ounces. That's 10 times what the Hunt brothers did. And then in January of 2011, Jamie Dimon took his head of market control. He called it his SWAT team. Whenever JP Morgan had a problem, they'd throw the SWAT team, Jamie Dimon's SWAT team at it. The head was Bill Daley. Bill Daley was in charge of fixing the silver problem. Bill Daley was placed as Barack Obama's chief of staff in January of 2011. Almost instantly, the price of silver was allowed to go up to $50. So JP Morgan stopped shorting it and screwed their friends to get out of their short position. And then when it got to 40, about 40, they started shorting and then they slammed it down, creating an artificial bear market that still is alive today. We are still in a bear market. You look at look at the slope of where this thing is going. If silver was freely traded today, it should be traded at a bare minimum 7-to-1 with gold, because that's what's coming out of the ground. If you're not going to determine, okay, what's it coming out of the ground for, you got to look at, okay, what's above ground? There's 6 billion of each, so it should be 1-to-1. If you're not going to use that, you should use it, say, okay, what's it used as? Well, they're both used as money. And oh, by the way, 60% of silver is used for other things in the industrial side, and which is growing leaps and bounds. There is nothing on this planet that justifies an 80-to-1 gold-silver price ratio. Nothing other than the criminality and computer market rigging that we see on the Comex every single day. For example, on the 26th and 27th, over 600 million ounces were traded of electronic bullshit silver were traded on the Comex. The Comex is a criminal exchange of derivative trading by banks trading back and forth to each other. There's very little people left using the Comex who are not part of the con. And if you are in the Comex, for any reason, expect to lose your ass, because they're going to change the rules. I've talked to my friend Ann Scheckman about this too. Sometimes he hedges his inventory. Be careful. They will change the rules on you, and then they'll set the price to minus $40 and make you pay up. And then, he hedges silver, so we just have to give back the silver. Be careful. You should not be in any of these derivative markets at this late point in the day. Here's what's going on. May is the delivery month for silver. You'd think with over 600 million ounces trading every day on the Comex, silver's just going hog wild, right? We are going to have the lowest silver May delivery month in the history of the Comex. The history of the Comex. This delivery month, and May's a big month, is going to be the lowest in history. Right now, they've delivered 8.4 million ounces with another about 4.3 million left to be delivered. Who knows why they aren't delivering it? Probably because they don't even have that, which gives you 12.7 million ounces. That would be the lowest ever in a May delivery month. Ever. Since the Comex started delivering, I think, in the early 70s. Now, I might be wrong about that. I only found records going back a ways. If you can find me a Comex delivery, May Comex delivery month, less than that, show it to me. But as far as I can tell, lowest ever. All the inventories all throughout the world are emptying. Who's taking it? Industrial, probably. Elon Musk, definitely. Warren Buffett, definitely. The U.S. Mint, I think so, and that's a massive conspiracy. Did the Justice Department, when they busted Jamie Dimon for rigging the silver market and gold market and treasury market, did they actually get the RICO charges? Because RICO charges are quite different than other charges. Racketeering charges, you have to pay back 3 times what you stole. So if JP Morgan rigged the price of silver and Trump nailed him for it, and they say 1 billion ounces, are they having to pay back 3 billion ounces of silver? And where's that 3 billion ounces going? Is it going right back to the U.S. Mint? Is that why they're not producing any? They're only producing 900,000 coins per month when they can do 5 million. or probably 10 million per month now, because Ventris Gibson, the head of Mint, expanded silver production but refuses to sell them to the people. I hope this is all sinking in. I know I say it over and over again. I hope it's sinking in by now. But there's proof after proof after proof is coming. Temporal markers, as Cliff calls them. All right, we got to the bottom of where Jamie Dimon, or where the FDIC got the money. FDIC does not have money to lend JP Morgan $50 billion in this transaction that they bought First Republic for. They did not, the FDIC, let me say it again, did not and cannot lend out money from the coffers of the FDIC, the DIP fund. That's the only money they have in the DIP fund. So where did they get the money, and why is everybody not talking about it? Well, we think we found out. So here's what the Treasury Department said. Janet Yellen's division, who oversees the FDIC, by the way. Treasury Department says First Republic resolution was encouraging. The U.S. Treasury Department said it's encouraged that the First Republic Bank was resolved with the least cost to the industry-sponsored deposit insurance fund. Least cost. Calling the country's banking system sound and resilient. Oh my God, how many times are they going to say that as the banks fail over and over and over? According to a Reuters report. Early on Monday, the FDIC seized bank, we all know that, sold most of its assets to JP Morgan for $10 billion in reference to the run on deposit withdrawals triggered by the failures of Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank. No, I would say it was due to this. The massive losses that are sitting at every bank and the massive amount of banks that are on the watch list. Anyway, it goes, in reference to the run on deposits withdrawals triggered by Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank in March, JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon said he expects, quote, this part of the crisis is over. Oh, really, Jamie? Didn't he say that when SVB went down? He's the worst fucking liar in the history of mankind. Quote, Treasury is encouraged that this institution was resolved with the least cost to the deposit insurance fund and in a manner that protected all depositors. The spokesman told Reuters. That is true. But where did the money come from? Where did the $50 billion come from? Quote, the banking system remains sound and resilient, and Americans should feel confident in the safety of their deposits and the ability of the banking system to fulfill its essential function of providing credit to businesses and families. The Treasury Department did not respond to seeking office requests for comment because they're lying. So where did the $50 billion come from? Here's where it came from. Treasury cash collapses by $87 billion in one day. In one day, $87 billion gone from that little treasure trove that's supposed to last us till August, September, before we run out of money in the debt ceiling issue. All of a sudden, $78 billion disappears in one day. I guarantee you $50 billion of that was the JP Morgan money. And probably the rest went to the FDIC too, because they got all kinds of bills to pay these days. This is from Zero Hedge. Whoa! Treasury cash collapses by $78 billion in one day. We won't make it to mid-May at this rate. I think we'll make it to end of May, the beginning of June, before Congress fails in its duty to raise the debt ceiling, which is ridiculous. They aren't going to do it, my friends. They aren't going to do it. This is the end game. Congress can't agree on anything. Are you kidding? They can't agree on what toilet paper to put in the stalls in the halls of Congress. They can't agree on anything. Most of them don't even go anymore. Dick Allgaier said it correctly when he said he viewed the end of the dollar, and he shows congressmen coming out of Congress just heads down saying it's over. Congress is over. Really interesting. I saw there's a quote right behind here by Neil Kashkari of the Fed. I followed this guy forever. He's a market rigger. He's very good at market rigging for the Fed. But listen to what he says.
To the person who is about to grab their car keys and go to the ATM and take out $3,000, you say what?
You don't need to. Your ATM is safe. Your banks are safe. There's enough cash in the financial system. and there is an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve. We will do whatever we need to do to make sure that there's enough cash in the banking system.
Look at those eyes. You don't think he's scared? No, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't go to the bank. He's right, though. There is an infinite amount of cash at the Fed. Greenspan kept saying that over and over again. There's an infinite amount of cash, but the purchasing power of that cash is the big question. Let's just say the FDIC does what they're thinking about doing, which is, okay, where are we? Right here. The FDIC all of a sudden wants to change the limits on what they insure. The FDIC insurance, they're supposed to have 1.35, I think, 1.35% of all the deposits is what the DIP fund is supposed to have. The Deposit Insurance Fund is supposed to have 1.35%. That's all. That's all they have. So if you're counting on FDIC insurance, good luck. Where's it going to come from? Can the Fed just print it? Well, they can with congressional approval. Right now, the FDIC is having to pull $50 billion out of a shrinking fund at the Treasury. So here's what the FDIC is proposing. This is crazy. As part of it, recent failures of Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank and the decision to approve systemic risk exceptions to protect the uninsured depositors of these institutions raise fundamental questions about the role of deposit insurance in the United States banking system. These are not new. You knew about it. We saw the interview of the FDIC meeting where they're like, holy shit, what if the whole world finds out that we're a piece of shit Ponzi scheme? That's what they said. They didn't use piece of shit. As part of the analysis, so they want to change it. This report is an effort to place these recent developments in the context of history, evolution, and the purpose of deposit insurance since the FDIC was created in 1933. As part of its analysis, the FDIC outlines 3 options. So here's what they're saying. We have 3 options. Number 1, limited coverage, maintaining the current deposit insurance framework, which provides insurance to depositors up to a specified limit, possibly higher than the current $250,000 limit. Now, where are they going to get the money? If they're going to keep the structure of they have to have 1.35% of the total deposits, and they want to increase it like they did last time to 500,000. If they do that, they have to either lower the percent that they have it, the baseline they have to hold for the insurance, or they got to bring in another $150 billion. They could do that from the Fed, probably. But that wouldn't do much. 500,000, there's not many people, I wouldn't imagine, between the $250,000 limit, which most 99% of the people are probably below that limit, from 250 to 500,000, there's probably not that many people with that amount of money in that range. You're either a multi-billionaire or millions of dollars, or you got less than 250,000. So they're just talking about the rich people. And then you got every corporation in America, by the way. Yeah. The 250 applies to corporations too. Now there's a way around it, and I didn't go into it last time. I did on the private road. I've gone into quite in depth on the private road. Go check that out. You can get more insurance by using beneficiaries. The more beneficiaries you add, each one of those beneficiaries gets $250,000 of insurance. So if you have $1 million in the bank and it's FDIC insured, go in there and put 4 beneficiaries. Now, it's weird because when you put a beneficiary, it takes you off of the insurance. You won't get paid the $250. Your beneficiary will. If you put 2, they'll get $500. 3, they'll get $750, and 4, you'll get $1 million, $250 each. So you'll need 4. And they have a calculator at the FDIC. I forgot the name of it. Just look up FDIC insurance calculator. You'll find it, and you can figure out what you need to do. But how is a company like Apple Computer going to do that? Who has billions of dollars in the bank they need for payroll and all this stuff? 10 billion beneficiaries? I don't know. And the banks are starting to cut back on beneficiaries. If your bank cuts back on your beneficiaries, move banks. Go to a bank that says, I'll let you have as many beneficiaries as you want. If you're over 250, do not leave anything exposed. that's just like saying, take my money, JP Morgan. All right, hope that makes sense. So here's their said, okay, we'll give the same coverage basically, maybe up it a little and somehow figure out how to do that. Number 2, unlimited coverage. Extending unlimited deposit insurance to all depositors. They say, oh, we can't do that because of moral hazard. All these bad things will happen. You don't have the money anyway. Might as well cover everybody. At least if you cover everybody, you won't have a string of people fearing that. That's the big thing about fractional reserve banking. Once a bank run starts and you let it runs to every bank on the planet because they're all failing. Every bank would fail if there's a bank run. Even JP Morgan Chase. Fractional reserve banking. They keep a little bit of your money here and they lend out 10 times your money out there. Long-term leases, and if even 10% of the people come in and say, I want my money back, they don't have it. They start selling off assets, then every bank on the planet is selling off the exact same assets, and we were already told what those assets are worth right here. Here's what the assets are worth. At this time, at the end of last year, they had dropped from pretty much in the red, or in the black, billion or $2, down to in the black, $675 billion. That's as of the end of last year. Where is it now? I don't know. A few trillion? Quadrillion? Does it really matter? So Neil Kashkari, yes, you should run to your bank. He lied. Interesting graph here of all the banks that failed last time, 2008. All a bunch of little banks, and then that's what it looked like. Look what it looks like this time. Only 3 banks have failed, and they're massive. There's 4,000 banks on the hook right now. You're going to see dots all over, big, little, sideways. All of them ultimately will fail. JP Morgan probably being the biggest, with the market cap of what, $3.5 trillion? I don't know what I don't know if they go by market back or asset base. I think JP Morgan's somewhere 3 to 3.5 billion in assets. So that would be 10 times the size. So that would be a big bubble right here, and it's coming. It's going to be the last bubble, the Jamie Dimon bubble. But yeah, you're going to lose it. Again, it's not about making money. You're not going to care what the price of silver is. Who gives a shit? You got to care if you have an ounce. Same with cryptos. You're not going to care what CoinMarketCap says or what's in your Coinbase account. Those will be gone. Completely gone. You're going to care what you have in your Trezor wallet, in your own possession only now. All right. Interesting. You want to know the next banks to go? I think these will be the next banks to go. And they're going fast, by the way. I'd say in the next 3 to 4 weeks. PacWest Bancorp, Western Alliance Bancorp, Key Corp, Comerica, Zions, East West Bancorp, Fifth Third Bancorp. They're already, once the stocks start showing it, the insiders are like, all the executives of those banks are selling. Everybody's selling before the public knows. Then all of a sudden there'll be a surprise. Oh my God, another bank failed? How did that happen? Good thing we have the FDIC to take money from the U.S. Treasury and put it into JP Morgan's coffers as a loan. Who would give a loan to the worst bank on the planet? All right. So we're going to move on to this. Our friend, our compatriot, Jenny Moonstone, has long said on the road to Ruta. We've been at it for 2 years analyzing this shit. Has long said the price of silver is going to bust through when the pedophile thing is exposed. I can't talk much about it on YouTube, so I won't, but go to roadtoruta.com and check out all the, I had a customer join just recently on the private road, and he went through every single one of the Jenny discussions. There's 50 of them, and they're all an hour or 2 hour long. Awesome stuff, amazing stuff on it. But yeah, those are going to happen simultaneously. And then we have this. This is huge. Major banks could be liable for Jeffrey Epstein sex trafficking, says the judge. 2 major banks and bank executive could be liable for Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking, a judge ruled, which means they go to disclosure. They gotta. We have to go find out everything. When all this information comes out, the interlinking between the banks and Jeffrey Epstein is going to be gigantic. And that's when Jenny says, bang, that's when silver runs. And I think she's right on. And I think it's happening very, very fast. And this ruling was laid down May 1st. So, yeah. Plaintiffs have pleaded sufficient facts to support their allegations that J.P. Morgan had knowledge of Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking venture. He had more than that. So, yeah. Very interesting stuff. I will be talking with Jenny tomorrow for the next one. Go check it out. Amazing stuff there. And if you join the private road at the Road to Ruta, at least today, which is May 3rd, a happy birthday to my sister, by the way. It's her birthday today. If you join the Road to Ruta today, we're giving away a silver Ruta coin. The Silver Lives coin, double stamped, hand-painted heart, the coolest coin ever. Individually numbered with a certificate of authenticity, and we don't sell them. We give them away with every 1-year subscription. A 1-year subscription to the private road is $299, less than $1 a day. And I do believe 100% that the silver that we give out, the Ruta coin, will be worth a lot more than that actual subscription cost. So think about it. Check it out. This is Bix. I'll talk to you later.